host, mail.thegummibear.com. And then here's what Roundcube looks like. You should be able to log in, inbox, compose message, send, receive. You know how to do that. So I did my test, I sent and received and made sure it worked. So that was the Roundcube stuff. It seems like I had one more. Anything else we need on this page? We did reverse DNS. Talked about web now. Okay. Seems like webmail. So I did put a couple other instructions in the assignment. On my slides, I had to actually type in the Chancho or whatever my URL was, and then I had to type in /roundcubemail something. If you wanted to automatically go to that directory instead of having to type it in every time, you can do some stuff in your virtual host file to have it, hey, if I just type in juicy.thegummibear.com, that's where I really wanted to go, is take me into that directory. Or you could change your document root, I guess, too. Doesn't really matter. So here's what I want you to do after you have that installed, is customize the theme to make it personalized for your domain. Create at least 3 more user accounts on your MTA. They only need to be installed on your MTA. Make sure you can log in as a Roundcube user and test that, and to make sure you can send and receive correctly. So I do have a submission file, but I don't have an auto-grader that's going to do this. Pretty much I'm just going to go log in as this user. I think that's what I did. I logged in as that user. And then I also said several screenshots which show that Roundcube is working properly, in case I can't get in. So that's the idea. Okay, so anything on that webmail assignment that occurred to you yet? So we're utilizing virtual hosts from our web server stuff that we've learned about. We're utilizing our database assignment. We're utilizing email, so our email assignment. And we're kind of putting all those on a DNS. Well, you probably should already have a DNS record for that, but we're kind of combining all those different topics into one for this assignment. Yeah.
Is it alright if we add different things that we're working on separately to our DNS record?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to make a matrix chat client, so I'm just going to use the server.
Yep, that sounds good.
Find the domain.
All right, so we talked, let's see, we did all this, DNS reverse. Yeah, we talked through that. Good. Okay. So the webmail, all right, I can talk about any of those. Let's talk about DNS delegation. Okay, so we're jumping back to DNS again. You can see how it's kind of hard if you're not keeping up close to where we're at in class, because if you're still working at DNS Simple 2, then maybe it's hard to know what we're doing here. It's like, oh, I can't think about what you're talking about in class because I'm thinking about how to do this other one. And if you're stuck on these assignments, don't beat your head against the wall. Come see me and let's get you through. So, delegation. So where do cs.dixie.edu servers get their authority?
Dixie.edu.
Dixie.edu, right? So, and pretty much in this example, there's actually 2 different authorities on, like, people on campus that are in charge of this. So Dixie.edu, someone over there in the Holland building is in charge of administering that domain. I don't know who it is. But we asked them a long time ago if they would delegate authority to us for the cs.dixie.edu subdomain. Where did you guys get authority for it.cit.dixie.edu? Right. Okay, so I got, well, in Dixie, CIT we got from Dixie. IT was delegated by CIT. Now, they're not always 2 different people that are delegating these. You could delegate a subdomain of your own domain to yourself. So if I own the gummybear.com, maybe I also want to own any subdomain underneath that, right? I could delegate to myself. Maybe I want to create a subdomain called, I don't know, bubblegum. .thegummybear.com. So I have that subdomain, so I could assign hosts inside of that subdomain now. ns1.bubblegum.thegummybear.com.
Since you don't have to keep finding domain names.
Right. Okay, so, and then you guys went out and you registered a domain at the beginning of the semester, and there was a registrar that delegated authority to you for that subdomain you purchased. What information did we have to, let's focus on maybe the DNS symbol too, the it.cit.dixie.edu subdomain. What information did you have to give me so that I could register it?
NS1, NS2 subdomain.
Yeah, what name you wanted, the subdomain you wanted, and then your addresses of your master and slave, the IP addresses. Okay, so we needed the name and IP of each authoritative server. Oh, yeah, I needed to know what you're going to call your name servers. Because on my subdomain, you could have called them whatever you want. They didn't have to be NS1 and NS2 .it.cit.dixie.edu. They could have. It's probably good practice to do so, but they didn't have to be. Okay, most registrars require you to have at least 2 authoritative servers, 2 bind servers set up. Well, it doesn't have to be bind, but bind is what we're using for this class. Most of them require you to have at least 2. And we've already talked about glue records are what link the DNS hierarchy together. So when you went back to your original registrar, you had to put in that glue record that said, okay, for this subdomain, send requests to my name servers. And then we have caching lookup servers can receive those glue records to recurse through the hierarchy. We talked about caching lookup servers, we talked about glue records, talked about the hierarchy. So these are the steps we're going to take, and then we'll explain the assignment. You're going to arrange for a subdomain from the registrar. You're going to configure 1 authoritative master, 1 or more authoritative slaves, 1 slave. Just like we did on DNS Simple 2. So does that mean I'm setting up brand new virtual machines? No. Right? You are just configuring another entry in your named.conf.local and another DB file in your for a zone. Okay, then we'll give our authoritative information to the registrar, we'll test. That's as the, okay, it's okay for new names to point to existing addresses. So on an earlier, so I could have NS1, I'm just going to abbreviate here, .thegummybear.com. I could have that point to, right, my address, 144.38.199.65. I could also have ns1.round.it.cit.dixie.edu point to, could I have it point to the same address? Could I have it point to a different address? Doesn't matter, sure. As long as I'm doing the right stuff over there. Could I have, let's say I call this next one zebra.foo.com. Could I have it point to this address too if I want? Sure. It's just names that are mapping to an IP address. We can have A records for IPs that aren't used yet. So in the DNS Simple 2 assignment, I said, can I have this record point to 1.1.1.1? Yeah, it's just doing an IP or name to IP lookup. Could I have it, could I have a point to some other IP address that that's not listening, that's not even pinging, hasn't been assigned anywhere? Sure. Because all we're going after for most of these is the translation. Now, in the real world, why would you ever assign an IP address that doesn't exist or that you're not using to a name? I don't know, but for this class you can. So, slave and master are set up the same way as we set up previously. That's for the lessee, person that's trying to lease a subdomain. As a registrar, you're also going to function as a registrar in this assignment. You have to agree to delegate it determine which subdomain you're gonna use. You're gonna receive that information from the client, the subdomain name, the names and IPs of the client's authoritative servers, just like you sent me that email for DNS Simple 2, that Fred, whatever, NS record, A record.